everyone. I'm so happy to be back here. I wasn't here for a long time, I think 6-7 months, and I had reasons for it because I had my firstly summer internship, and then I had some problems with the eye. So I wasn't able to shoot something actually, and then during this semester I prepared for the German exam, but about it later, probably in another video. And finally now I'm ready to be back. I have some free time, and shooting and editing, it takes a lot of time, so I wasn't able to shoot something and to tell you something, but I had a lot of ideas, and I hope that now, at least for a short period of time, I'm back. But in this video, I want to talk with you about the Finnish universities of applied sciences and give you some tips so that your studies there will be actually great and you will be able to take the most of these studies. So the first tip that I'd like to give you is do not set too high expectations. Probably it was one of my problems because I expected so much. I expected that the studies there will be great, that everything will be so interesting, that everything that I get will be so informative and new for me. I will meet a lot of new people and everyone will be so great. I will have so many friends. Of course, probably I exaggerate a little bit, but in general, I had great expectations. And when I came there, I understood in a week that actually it is not so, and there are classes that are not interesting, there are teachers that are not interesting, there are people who are not interesting, and not everyone and everything is so great. And it broke me a little bit, I think. But what I'd like to tell you here is just be realistic, be positive about something new that you will have in the future, but don't be too optimistic. I mean, do not exaggerate the situation like everything will be great. It's impossible that everything is great, and there will be always things that are not so great, that are approximately the same as in your country, for example, if we are talking about the move for studies in another country. So just think that it's a good opportunity. I will try to take everything that I will be able, that is good for me, and it's just the way to have a new experience. The second tip is to learn how to use the available resources correctly. Firstly, you should filter, so to say, classes that you have at the university, and you should understand, okay, this is not interesting at all. I don't like the teacher, for example, I don't like the subject. I will try to pass this course successfully, everything will be great, but I won't pay too much attention to this subject because I know that I won't connect my future, for example, with this. It's completely not interesting for me. And the second thing is try to use all sources and all opportunities that the university gives. It's probably firstly I will mention which opportunities I mean. Campus Online, it is online courses from other universities. There are usually a lot of interesting courses that continue all year around, or that are for one semester only, but they are actually some interesting things that you can find. Some language courses, sometimes in Finland, some language courses are only in Finnish, but it's still possible to find something. You can write to the language center at your university and they will try to find something for you. It's not always possible, but you can try at least. Also some projects at my university at Young, we have different projects with other universities where it is possible to take part. For example, I didn't take part this semester in this project, but I know that we had a financial project about finances of different companies with the university in Holland, and the participants, the students, communicated online, and they had an opportunity to learn from each other, from people from another country. So if you're interested in internationalization and such projects, always take part in them and always be active. Yeah, and actually always use the possibility to find internship with the help of university. And if you have such an opportunity to have an exchange during your studies, personally, I can't say directly whether it's very good or not, because I didn't have my exchange yet. But I think that this opportunity, at least to see another country and to see people there, is a great opportunity. And then, secondly, if you're interested in status in this country, then it's also, of course, great. The third tip is prepare yourself mentally to work in groups a lot. We have I think I didn't have one class during this semester where I didn't have a group work. It was harder for me because in Russia we don't have group works a lot, and I didn't like them, and I don't like them now. So it's always hard for me. For example, when you have a group that is interested in something exactly as you are, or at least at approximately at the same level, or the participants of the group, the members of the group are very enthusiastic and skillful, but it doesn't happen like this always. And more often you have to work with people who are not very passionate about what they do. They don't really have too much skills, and you can't really learn something from them. So for me, group work usually turns out to be very boring and exhausting, because I find myself at the end that I do the most of the work because I cannot trust other people to do this work. Probably partially it's my problem, but I've heard a lot of negative comments about the group works from other students as well. So when you have an opportunity to choose the group, try to choose those people who work well, so that you don't lose too much energy during the class, and you know that this part will be done by this person, this part will be done by this person, and I will do this, and we won't have worries. So for example, during the last 2 semesters, I didn't have an opportunity to choose the group, actually, because we were divided by the teacher. But during this semester, I had an opportunity to choose the group. By the way, I think I mostly was with Russians, and in one group with Germans. But yeah, I knew that these people will work, and we will be able to be flexible and to do the tasks fast. So yeah, try to do this when you have an opportunity. The next tip is prepare yourself for a lot of assignments during the semester. For example, in Russia, we have so much tasks, so much homework it's not a semester, but during the year. And we are used to do a lot. And for example, in Finland, for most of Russians, it seems like we do not do actually anything because we're used to do much more than this. But for example, from Germans, I've heard during the semester that they are used to such a structure, to such a system, that they do not do a lot during the semester, but then they have all the exams and all the assignments at the end of the semester. And here in Finland, that's why here in Finland it was harder for them, because we have a lot of group works, a lot of assignments, some written assignments, some video assignments, some presentations during the semester. And then for example, this semester I had only 2 exams. One of them was online and another one at campus. And actually that's it. So we don't have too much exams at the end, and they are usually not very hard. Of course, it depends on the teacher, but for example, I had my HRM exam and it was very great. I actually love this teacher who who is teaching this class. But yeah, it's more practical based, so it's more interesting than hard. So the last tip is try to find your field of interest during studies and try to stick to it. I can say from my experience that I know that it's hard to understand what fields you like most of all. And when, for example, during working, during interviews in HR, work employee asks you which field do you want to work in, or what interests do you have, like marketing, etc., etc. It's always hard, at least for me, to answer these questions because I'm still in search, and actually I understood that I chose international business because I didn't know which field I'm mostly interested in. So just try, at least during the studies, do not put too much pressure on yourself, and try to understand, okay, I do like this subject, but probably I still need a little more time to understand whether it's my cup of tea or not. Try to search for some themes, for some videos in this field, and then you will understand more or less whether you like it or not. And then when you understand your main directions, try to put more effort into these subjects, into these classes, and to try to find internships and work in these fields. I know that it doesn't work as easy as I say, unfortunately, but try to do so. For example, personally for me, I understood that finances probably is not my cup of tea. So it's great, but I understand that I do not understand actually too much about it. I didn't dig too deep into finances, but it seems to me that all these processes with exchange rates and other forwards, futures, etc., etc., it's a little bit hard for me, and I do not understand it as well as I understand some other things, some other fields. I also understood that I didn't actually like marketing. Probably it depends on the teacher and on the class, because it seemed to me every time that I learned the same things one more time and one more time, and then again. But I understood that yeah, that's something interesting, but probably not the field that I would like to devote whole my life to. And yeah, I don't want to make this speech too long, but in general, try to think, try to process, try to uh, see it with your own and understand what you really want, what you really like, and try to put more effort and more time into this. So that's it. These were all my tips that I would like to give to you, and I hope they will be helpful. Of course, you can, as always, as usual, write down in comments if you have any questions about studies in Finnish University of Applied Sciences, or write to me on Instagram. I'm always open to your questions, and I really want you to overcome this period well, because it's new culture, it's new country, it's a new educational system, and when you more or less understand how you should move there and why it works, so I think it makes the way a little bit easier. So yeah, I wish you all good luck, and I hope that you keep safe and everything is great. So thank you for watching this video. Goodbye.